All right, folks, I'm back here. So I've made it through my black linen and I'm onto my red thread. Uh, this goes a lot faster because you're not trying to pass through the holes next to the uh, stronger thread. So I don't have to pull out my pliers to pull the needle through as much. And I just kind of zip along. After getting so far, just switch over to the other one instead of trying to do it back and forth, which is technically the technique that you should do. And I do that up on the bigger one, the bigger thread that holds it to each other. That way I can pull it really tight, make sure that there's not going to be any movement, because that's initially what will take the threads and make them weak, is any movement. And every time somebody goes to pull this thing tight, if it has any shift, if there's any play in that thread, eventually it will work itself loose and weak, causing problems down the road, and that's not kind of defeats the purpose of spending the hours worth of work to bring something back to life so that it can be used. I like to take pride in our work and do quality stuff. Not everything is perfect. The enemy of greatness is perfection. So I don't always get them, but we try our best to make it as good as we can. And that way we can say we did. So I wanted to speak on something, and this is actually kind of a funny little thing. I had a very long, it wasn't super long or anything, it wasn't like annoyingly, I had a great time doing it. It was a really long, good phone call with a new acquaintance, and he does YouTube, and it's funny because it was a while ago, man, like the first time I ever seen one of his videos. And he is his videos have always been, single blade and double edge Gillette style safety razors. And I don't normally mess with that or watch that, but with that being said, when I stumbled across his, and like I said, when I say a while back, I mean like some time ago, like a year or more, maybe two, like a long time. And I found this old feller making videos talking about shaving stuff, which I'm interested in and everything, but what I liked was his sincerity. I liked the fact that he was just himself. He wasn't on there trying to prove anything to anybody. He wasn't on there trying to convince me or anyone else that that he's better than somebody, or that he's been doing something longer, or that he knows more, or that whatever. He's not trying to sell anything. He was just genuine, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I always keep something playing on the PC in the background here while I work. Sometimes it's music, sometimes it's YouTube videos, sometimes it's just old reruns of Magnum PI, the original one. And somehow or another, someday I found this guy's videos, and I just started watching them. I liked it. It was calm, it was relaxing, it was genuine, transparent, and so anytime he would pop up in my feed, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't stop it. I'd just turn it on, turn the volume up, and get to work. Awesome. Well, it wasn't till recently we had made any contact with each other, and it took an interaction plus a mutual acquaintance letting me know who this person was that I was interacting with, for me to realize, holy cow, this is the person that I've been watching in these videos for, you know, well over a year or longer. I mean, it's been a long time, guys, since the first time I seen his videos. And it was really nice. And it was just a great conversation, you know. And I think one of the things that drawn me to the videos was the commonalities we have, the things in common we have. And it was really fun to just relax and chat. For a few hours today. And I do that with some people, not a ton, you know. A lot of people I talk to just through messaging, but I've got some people that I video call, I've got some people that I phone call, and I like the phone calling because I can just put it on speakerphone or put in my earphones and keep my hands busy. So for a few hours today while fixing this strop, oh man, I hope I don't get that bunched up. Fixing this strop, I get to have really good, strong, positive conversation with someone that, you know, I had been kind of admiring from afar for so long. And if you're watching this video, you know who you are, and thank you. Just thank you. It meant more to me than you know. That's for sure. To just rap, you know. We talked about razors and stuff, yeah, but we talked about a lot of other stuff, you know, that had nothing to do with shaving, and that's what I enjoyed, was the interaction that didn't have anything to do with razors or shaving. It seems like that's, and I don't mind interactions being only about that, but it's nice when they're not. It's nice when it's just, hey man, this is me. How you doing? You know, I really enjoyed that, and I know, at least I'm pretty sure he enjoyed it as well. And what do they say? It looks like it's going to be a beautiful relationship. Nah, it's gonna be a good one. There's gonna be a lot of back and forth in our future, and just kind of, like I said, what really got my attention was the fact that, as brilliant as I may be, I didn't catch that this was the person from the videos, and that's cool, you know, because most of the time, if there is a video playing, it's hard for me to pay attention to that and work, and I've made it evident more than once that I don't post as much and I don't watch as much, because it's just, I'm just busy, man. I'm busy. My hands are going, I'm moving, I'm thinking. I got one buddy that I always video chat with, and you can ask him. He has watched me break more razors than any one man should, because I'm just, oh man, that's not maybe through there, because I'm just not paying a whole lot of attention, you know. And I get to talking and I get to going, and next thing I know, crack, down she goes. And he always makes a comment about it, like, it's me. This is what happens when we talk and you're working. You break razors. I'm like, yeah, well, thank the Lord. Well, I've never broken, like, I've broken razors that are going out to someone, but I've never broken someone else's razor while doing it, and that's a blessing. Knock on wood. So, but anyways, so back at it. Now we're doing the thinner thread. You know, it's a little more easy to mess up because it's just thin, so it wants to break easily and it wants to get tangled easily, and I gotta really watch what I'm doing, like right now. Figure out which line is going where. There we go. That may have got it. I don't know. What happened here? Okay. Oh my. This is always kind of nerve-wracking when I'm picking up where I ran out of thread. You know, they say for this particular stitch that you should make a length about 3 to 4 times longer than what you need it to be. The problem is that it's not in a straight line. So and to be honest with you, 3 to 4 times the length, yeah, that would be one long. Piece of thread to constantly maneuver around and deal with. It's also good to run a little beeswax on your thread. I don't know if I said that earlier, but when dealing with this kind of material, it does help. And don't try to substitute beeswax. And don't let it get on your fingers. Because if you've ever tried to sew with greasy fingers, you'll know exactly why. But the beeswax tends to not be so bad that you can. I got a little bar of it. You can just kind of run the thread right across it, where I don't even have to touch it. So I'm going to get in a little bit close and show you what I'm doing here. Let me get caught up so that way I'm not so it's not super confusing. Ah, crap. Now it's getting a little loose back there. Might break. Nope. Got it. Almost, folks. That knot's getting harder and harder to move. Okay, now I'm even. So basically, to start it, you want one piece of thread with a sewing needle on each end, and then you pass one of the needles through one of the surfaces. I typically will start on the brown side, or whatever side I can see my holes better if this is what I'm doing. But you pass it all the way through, make sure it's even, and then I'll take a finger and hold one side so when I pull on it, it doesn't slide it through. You might have to do that for the first couple rounds. But you go one hole over to the very next hole. All right, and that gives you one little line, right? On the back, you're coming out of both lines, both holes. Switch over, go to your back, or your exit hole right there, and go through the next one, just the same as you did on the other side. Bada bing. Now it's a single line on both sides, and then you pull it tight and just repeat that process. Oh, there, lost my knot. I knew it was coming. That's it's not like the, I don't know the name of the other stitch. I think it's like hook and loop or something like that. It's not the kind that like a sewing machine would give you, but it is the kind that will hold up to this just fine. It's got plenty of density. And it's not going to give up. It's literally called, no it's not, there's I can't think of the name for this knot, but it is a well-known knot, and it works pretty well. So I've been using it for a long time. I've never had any issues with it coming undone. It's also easy to pick up where you left off. So if you run out of thread, it's easy to, I'm gonna lose this one next, you watch. It's easy to get it started again and keep on cruising. And that is the main thing. And like I said, once I get going, I'll just kind of go a couple on each one and make sure I pull it nice and tight before I go on to the next one. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll get to where it's almost all the way through. Oh, I went through my own loop. It's almost through, and I'll go back and I'll go back and I'll grab that loop and make sure it's nice and tight before I pull it through again. Once I've gotten so far, I'll switch over and hold that piece nice and taut and just go through and do it all over again. Just making sure that each one you pull really tight. You got to make sure that it's tight, because if not, damn it, I just lost that knot too. Because if it's not tight, then when you go back through that same hole, the friction and the grab of the thread will actually unthread your thread as you're going along, and that's typically why you only do one at a time. And like I said, when on the bigger thread, when it's really tight quarters and I know that there's a lot of pressure and friction inside of there, I will always make sure that I just do one at a time, make it nice and taut, be patient, and move on. I've got a project box I've been working on, a barber's box, and I've got a boxed caudicle that I've restored the box. I just put the first coat of finish on the caudicle box, and I got to finish laying out the finishing touches and the hardware on the barber's box. That will all be coming up soon. You know, I won't have it for sale and post plenty of pictures, but there's a couple neat things that are coming out of the shop here in a bit that are all in multiple stages of disarray and finished and not finished. But we're moving right along, and as you can see, I think you can spot a little bit right here. That's where I switched over to new thread. But I mean, that's not bad, you know, that's not bad. No one's gonna notice that. Your hands will wear it down and make it all look more uniform. When I do post the before and after photos, what's really gonna get you is being able to clean up the linen, because you had to replace the thread on the handle. And it makes you, it's a long, tedious job to do these, but it makes you start thinking like, man, I should just go rip every stitch on the old strops I have with handles and rethread those handles on there to give yourself an opportunity to clean the linen. So I'm gonna cut this one. It's not really short, it's 23 minutes, but I'll get off here. I gotta go run a couple errands. I use a barber stone. It's a crown, old crown, to kind of keep my points fresh on my sewing needles. All right, folks. Thank you.